What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I pray that all is well with each and every one of you. Hopefully, God has really kept you and blessed you and has watched over you as the day has progressed. As a matter of fact, we want to give God glory for a glorious, awesome, and amazing day that He has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. It is 12 noon. We are live, we are here, and we are ready to give God the glory. It is the wisdom well, drawing from the wisdom well of the Greater New Hope Church, and I'm excited about what God is doing. Listen, if you don't do nothing else, I need everybody to take the time real quick to go on your page right now and kick a shout out to Zayla Rain Bailey. Today is her birthday, and I'm excited. But my baby turned 7 years old today, and as we woke up this morning, we were able to see her on television, and all of the good things that was said about her and her love for her church and for her being able to be one of God's children. We are excited about what God is doing in her life, and I'm telling you, you do not want to miss the next thing that God has planned for us. Y'all, this is a glorious, awesome, amazing day, and it's a day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice, we will be glad in it, and God will be glorified. Please take the time to share the video. Get on, share the video, let everybody know we live. We're supposed to have some extra guests that's going to be here today. Lady Yolanda is here, y'all, and we excited about what we going to bring to you today as it relates to our wisdom well. Listen, share the video. Let everybody know we live. Let everybody know. Y'all like, tag it. Make sure that everybody who's there who want to be a part can be a part. We want to make sure everybody is connected in every way to make sure that we are doing what we are assigned to do. I'm going to have to dip out of here. So we may cut this broadcast a little early unless Yolanda and the others are wanting to continue the conversation, but I have to dip out because it's baby girl's birthday, and I'm going to go spend a little time with her for her lunch break and take some time to go and hang out with her for a little bit. And so, but we want to definitely make sure that everybody is connected in some way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. Again, welcome to Drawing from the Wisdom Well of the Greater New Hope Church. I am your host, Pastor Dr. Robert Bailey Jr. Alongside me is none other than
Yolanda E.2. Brown.
E.2. Brown. We thank God for you. How are you today? You all right?
I'm still fat.
Come on now.
That means I'm good.
Listen, we are she had started off with that, right? We are here, man, to give God the glory because God is such an amazing, awesome, and wonderful God, man. And I'm telling you, if you had no other time to give him praise, you ought to give him praise because he's just been good. He's just been so good. Despite how good or not good we've been, he's been so good. Let's go to God in prayer, and we'll dive right into the continuation of our conversation from last week. We'll continue that conversation. Hey, everybody that's online. Ken, what's going on? Hey, what's up, T? Good to see you, man. Tiffany, Justin, good to see y'all. What's going on, Renee? How you doing? Jennifer, good to see y'all on. Everybody that's online, y'all come on, kick a shout out to me. Let me say hey. Make sure you speak. All right, let's go to God in prayer. Father, we thank you now for this time of togetherness. We thank you, God, that we get a chance to be in your presence, that, God, we'll get a chance to be able to talk about your goodness, to just bask in what you have assigned us to do that with joy, with honor, with privilege, to know that, God, you've privileged us, graced us with the opportunity to be here and to do what we do as we are encouraging your people. We ask, God, that you would enhance us, increase us, but most importantly, empower us that we can say the right thing, that we can be able to speak directly to the hearts, minds, and the spirits of those who need to hear a word from you. And then, God, I pray that you would crown us with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Help us to be clear. Help us to be consistent. But most importantly, help us, God, to be to operate in our calling, that we'll be able to say and do what you've assigned us to do. God, we praise you now. Excuse me, we give you the glory, we give you the honor, we totally give you the praise for everything you have done, every blessing you have given us, every way you have made, every door you have opened. We give your name the glory for it in advance, and we praise you that you are in control. Have thine own way, and you get the glory out of this house. It is so. In Jesus' mighty name we pray and ask it all. Amen. All right. Let's dive into what we came here for. We started the conversation on last week, and we've been really doing this movement on expecting manifestation. We started talking about watching God work last week, and sometimes watching God work always causes us to evaluate where we are. When we are watching God work, sometimes it's not always comfortable for us, but when we watch God do things, it's always done in order. It's always done in proper context or a proper way. And sometimes I think when we deal with watching God work, we struggle with our faith. I believe the writer, there's a gentleman who brought his son to Jesus, and when he does that, he asked Jesus, said, if you can. Jesus said, if I can. He said, yeah. He said, all things are possible to them that believe. He said, well, I do believe, but help my unbelief. There's parts of us when we don't always believe what we are seeing God do. And is it possible that we don't always believe that because it possibly hadn't been done for us just yet? Or is it possible that we don't believe it because maybe we just don't believe that what he said is actually true? How do we help? How do we assist in that?
Well, first of all, a person has to really believe what they say they believe. If you don't, then I can't assist you in that part, because I can't force you to believe. I can't even cause you to believe.
Right.
Something within you has to grasp hold to what you say is what you say. You say God said you're called to the nations. Well, you got to hold fast to that. Mm-hmm. I can't hold fast to that for you. You have to hold on with everything you have, with everything around you, with everything going on around you. Okay, whatever that is, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Now, what you have to go through to get there.
Yeah.
That's the part that we have a problem with. We don't have a problem with what God said. It's what he didn't say.
Well,
he didn't say that my mother had to pass away. He didn't say that my father had to get cancer. He didn't say that my child had to get shot. He didn't say that I had to bury two of my nieces. He didn't say I had to go through all this crap to get to where I'm going. It's the part that he didn't say that we have a problem with. So if we can get our focus off of what he didn't say, kind of like when Peter got out of that boat, he didn't tell Peter that the waves was going to do certain things when you get out of the boat.
Yeah.
But he got out. And if he'd have kept his eyes on Jesus, which is the goal, is to get to Jesus. That was the goal. To get to walk like Jesus, you have to keep your eye on him. It's the same thing when we're having faith toward what God said. We have to keep our eye on his word. What did his word say? Did his word say that? Yes, it did. Did it say I could have that? Yes, it did. Did God say I could have it? Yes, he did. Well, all right, I have to hold fast to that.
So do we lose that somewhere along the way when we know he said it and yet?
Because my mama died, and so if he didn't do this, then maybe he ain't gonna do that either. You know.
But we've seen it over and over again that every promise made, he's come to pass. True. I mean, and you're right about that. But most of the time, when God is actually saying something, he don't give us the details because we are detour from what the details are, because most of the time it's going to always make us uncomfortable. Details, when knowing details is always going to make you uncomfortable. Having moments where God will tell you, okay, I'm going to do this, you're going to try to prevent this from happening, and so a lot of times he don't give us details because he know we're going to detour from it. So is that a faith thing, or is that I mean, well, I guess it would be the same because trusting God will be trusting what he says.
True.
And I know it goes from different levels, faith to faith, glory to glory. So how do we help? Because most of the time we all get shaken at some point over it.
True. But you preach a lot about snake. And the snake has to go through a rock and a hard place in order to get to new skin. Well, sometimes we don't want to shed old skin to get to the new skin. So we're trying to take everybody and everything from this season into where God's trying to take us to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hurtful when he has to do the squeeze play thing like they do on the football field to rip that off so that we can easily slide through to the next thing. Well, sometimes we don't want to do it, so we don't do that. And then we say, well, God's not working. We blame God for a lot of things that's us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we have to now evaluate, is it me that's hindering this thing, or is it God that's delaying this
Wow.
thing? No, sometimes it's us hindering it because of the things that we don't want to fix that he's telling us to, because that doesn't feel good, just like you said.
Is that why we miss seeing him work?
Sometimes.
I mean, we hey, y'all, what's going on? I'm seeing everybody speaking. My Irma, your name need to be Miller, not Powell on here. But Irma, what's going on, Mama Irma?
What's the
Shantae, what's going on, Michelle?
I got to learn the Miller Highlight theme song.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's going on, Yancey? How you doing, man? Naila, Steve, what's up? Miss Gloria, good to see you. Lack of control makes our faith shaky, unfortunately. You're absolutely right. I think a lot of us deal with control issues. We want to be in control of everything. Well, we want to be, because we want to be in control of like, it's almost kind of like if I don't have control, I lose it. And I say that on a regular basis. I lose control when I don't have it. So most of the time it's a matter of trying to figure out, do I still trust God and still try to maintain control, or do I trust God and let him be in control?
If you got to maintain control, you don't trust him very much.
That's all. Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's what we do on a regular basis. We say, okay, God, I'm gonna give it to we take it to the altar, leave it there. No, we take it to the altar and take it back.
Sure.
And unfortunately, because I have control over it, because I gave it to God, but yet I know how I've worked with it all this time. Mm-hmm. And so because I know how I've worked with it all this time, now I want to maintain how I manage it.
True. Well, that works in the world.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in the spiritual realm. In the world, it's like, if you want anything done right, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, in the spiritual realm, the things that you cannot do for yourself, you have to let the person who can do it. Yeah. It's kind of like when you're trying to teach your kids how to tie their shoes, and they really don't know how to tie their shoes, so you're going through the motion to try to show them how, but they go, I got it, and as soon as you let them have it, they mess it up. And seeing in my house, you didn't go play till you learned to tie your shoes. So the kids wanted to go play, but you couldn't tie your shoes, so you had to stay where you were instead of moving to what was promised. You were promised to go outside and play if you can get your shoes tied. So they had to finally listen to the one who knew how to tie shoes, so that they can get the mechanics of tying their shoes. Well, God does us the same way. I'm the one that can make it happen, but you keep putting your hands in it to make it happen for yourself, and you keep messing it up, and then you blame me for not bringing to pass what I said I would do. I'm only going to do it my way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it your way.
Yeah.
So either you're going to get on the bandwagon with me, or we're going to be here until you do.
Well, that's a hard pill to swallow most of the time, because, man, we want to be in control of it. And so you can't watch God do nothing, because you're doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
It's almost kind of like everything in your budget you're going to make sure that you can accomplish, and then say, I'm the one that did it, and then be mad at God when it don't work out or don't pan out or stuff fall apart. True. And I think we do that a lot in not just ministry, but in life as a whole, where we are expecting God to move in a certain way or do a certain thing, but then we want to move prior to him moving, or we want to try to make moves to make sure he moves. Like, who does that?
The only move you can make is one of obedience.
Yeah.
And that's trust me.
Yeah.
If that's all he told you to do was to trust him, then you plant your feet still and trust him. When he says move to the left, do that.
Yeah.
Move to the right,
yeah.
do that. But see, now when you're told what to do and you refuse to do that, don't expect him to move either.
Like the army.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
If he tells you to move right and you move left or you stand still because you don't want to do that, then it is your fault.
Yeah.
That things are not moving forward, because the brigadier is not going to move outside of what his command is. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think, this was, I know one of the ladies sent me a message after last week's broadcast, and she was asking, how do you, and I'm probably paraphrasing because I don't remember, but she said, how do you maintain steadfastness after going through so many struggles? Because most of the time, it's hard to look at God work in our lives if the only thing I've seen in my lifetime is struggle or suffering or pain or anguish or abandonment. Like, that's all I've seen all my life. And I know people that I've had conversations with that have literally said, Pastor, I don't even know how to live now, because at this point, everything I've ever paid attention to or noticed or has ever happened to me has been centered around some type of struggle, some type of hardship, some type of burden, some type of pain. How do I manage getting myself through those moments? Because those moments are not easy.
Well, one, recognize that you got through.
Yeah.
You didn't stay in that same position. You actually got through. That's number one. Number two, go back and make a list of things you made it through. And then look at how you made it through. That's what the rod and the staff comforting is. You go back and actually find the minute things that God has done. And when you find all of the minute things that God has done, you'll realize he's done some big things in your life.
Yeah.
Even though with harshness and all of these things, I've had stuff happen in life and they were bad. They were bad. They were so bad that I didn't know if I was going to survive it all. But in the end, when I watch God work, everything that I've been through, everything that I've dealt with, everything that I've had to face, it brought me to the moment of now. I use every bit of that every time I go to work, every time I hit those streets, every time I'm under those bridges. I use the very things that I've gone through, because what you're going through is not for you anyway.
Absolutely.
It's for somebody else. And while you're going through it, every time you come out on the other side, somebody's watching you come out on the other side, and they go, I can tunnel through it too.
Yeah.
And if you keep your eye on that part of God, instead of what Satan really wants you to keep your mind on, the bad parts and all the tough parts and the abandonment parts.
Yeah.
I've been abandoned. I've been rejected. I've been rejected a lot by people that, you would think you ain't going to be rejected by. I've had that happen. But you know what? It made me a stronger person, and I actually know how to treat people because I've been that. So therefore, I don't reject people. I take them, but now it's some things that we got to have, hey, listen, I ain't gonna reject you, but watch me right here. We gonna go in this store? Don't you pick that up. Now, I know they call you a thief and whatever, but don't you pick that up. I have had to do that. It was a lady, I don't like telling what I do for God, but it was a lady, and she was hungry, and I knew she was hungry. And I said, babe, what are you doing? She said, I'm standing out here trying to get a few dollars because I just want something to eat, because I have my bus card, but I don't have anything to eat. And I said, well, let's go in the store, and you get anything you want to eat as long as you eating today. And she said, ma'am, I can't go in that store. I said, why can't you go in this store? She said, because I stole out of that store to eat before. I said, but you're going in with me. We're going in this store. So when we got in the store, the lady in the store knew who I was, because I frequent that store a lot. And I said, hey, how you doing? I need to get whatever she needs to eat. And so they said, are you sure? I said, I'm positive. And I didn't follow her around the store, but I positioned myself to be able to watch, to see what she was doing. When the store owner noticed that I was watching her every move, he was like, no one else would have done that. She got everything that she needed. She got on the bus, and she was happy. I represented Christ well, and she represented herself well because she didn't steal anything. Sometimes you can't reject everybody. You have to give them a chance to do it right. Yeah. And if you ever give somebody a chance to do it right, they'll do it right again because of that chance. So when you're going through all of this stuff, remember, that is not for you. Keep your eye on God. Write the minute things down that he does in your life, and you'll find that big things are really happening, even though, you know, you think just little things popping. That's not always right.
Naila said people forget they have the right to change the narrative, which is actually a true statement, which was the next thing I was about to say. We forget that we can control the direction of how things turn. It can turn. Like, it don't have to stay. Hezekiah didn't have to go on just the word that I'm going to die. No, I got to do something that'll change the narrative. And he did. Blind Bartimaeus cried out with a loud voice. It was to change the narrative. We got to get to a point where we find the strength to change the narrative or change the direction of what it was to what it shall be. And until we do that, we ain't gonna never see God work in no area of our lives. So, Naila, that was a great point. And T said, God says to cast your cares to him, give it to him, and he said he'll make it better. This is the key. You have to just trust him. And that's something we've been talking about this whole time, just trusting God and believing that what he's saying. Now, the problem with trust is this. When you trust something or you trust somebody, you got to be willing to open yourself up to trust. You can't just automatically go, well, I trust that. No, you got to be willing to. If you walk in and saw a chair fall over every time somebody sat in one, you're going to be apprehensive about those chairs. Because at some point, because it didn't happen to you, because you saw it happen to multiple people before, your trust is already somewhat slighted because you watched it fail in somebody else's life.
And that's true, because when the woman went to the well, Jesus said, give me to drink. She's like, not another man. I'm so not doing this today. But then she checked the intentions, not knowing she was the intended party for the blessing anyway. But she checked the intentions by saying, why are you talking to me? We don't have no dealings with each other. So, yes, trust is not something you can do easy. That's what I was going to say when he said cast your cares. Casting your cares is not easy either, especially when all of your life you've been doing it yourself. Now somebody's asking you to give it to me and let me do it. Oh, no. See, I gave it to my mama, and that didn't work. I gave it to my daddy, and that worked. Now, how I'm going to give it to somebody I can't see?
Right. You're absolutely right. And that ain't easy.
It's
definitely not easy.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you no lies.
It ain't easy.
It is not.
It ain't easy at all. Especially when you know that he can do it, but yet you've been doing it a certain way or a certain flow and having this certain energy all the time, and trying to give it to God ain't always the easiest thing to do. However, when you do, you find yourself a lot lighter, a lot easier to deal with. Patient, kind, considerate, gentle, because those things are coming based on your willingness to be able to release it. Now, we don't have I was telling my daughter, because she ended up getting some money, and she had her money in her hand, and I said, well, baby, let me have your money. Give me your money. I don't want to say how much it was. I told her, just give it to me, Daddy, hold on to it. She was like, no. I'm like, why you won't give it to me? You got your own money. I want mine. I'm like, well, I'm not taking your money. And I don't know what made you think, excuse me, for the life of me, my question to her, what made you think that I would take your money if I already got mine? And in her mind, she was thinking I was going to take her money and add it to mine. That way she have none. And I'm going, well, no, that's not what the intention was. I said, let me hold on to it. And then when you need it, I got it. And I said, sometimes we miss the moment that when we put it in God's hands, he'll hold on to it until you need it, until there's a design or a desire for you to have it, and then he'll give it to you. But we won't give it to him enough to let him hold on to it, because we feel like as long as I got it, then I can control what I do with it.
True.
And so that I thought about that with my baby, and I was like, man, that was just, and that happened last night. So it's like things, as we live it out, God shows us his handiwork on a regular basis and give us examples to live on and to go by. And I just thought about that when we was talking about that just now, how she did that just last night. Like, I'm holding on to this, but we can't cast it to God. How we know he gonna fix it or change it or heal it or bless us? Like, we won't know it.
That's where faith comes in. He can't grow your faith if you don't trust him with the heart.
So what I need to tell my daughter, because she don't have no faith in her daddy.
Well, when you give $2 or $3 back to her, she'll get it back.
Lord
but trust your daughter does
that
have
baby
faith
took
in
that
her
money
dad.
and was like, she would not give it to me. But she know it, and her thing was, but she knows Friday is coming. She's going to the rodeo Friday with the school. School is going to the rodeo, and I'm going with them. And so she like, well, I'm gonna hold my money because I know I'm going somewhere. But I'm like, well, I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna use it at the rodeo. At least you know where your money going. Like, you were gonna use it anyway.
No, Daddy, I'm gonna hold my money, and I'm gonna use your money at the rodeo.
That's a whole mess. That's a whole mess. That's a whole mess. That's why she can't see God work. That's why she can't see God work, because God was trying to work it, and she ain't want to.
She felt like the guardian was trying to work it.
That's horrible. Horrible.
And I'm trying to work mine over here too.
Horrible.
And but see, that's also true too. We want God to rain down from heaven.
Yeah.
When he's already given you what it takes to get that done. Sometimes God doesn't move because he's already given you what it takes to get that done. So why am I going to do it when I gave it to you and you already can do it?
That's horrible.
But I'm just saying.
That's horrible, though.
Is it true?
I mean, it's true, but
That
it's horrible.
Well, the truth will make us free. Hallelujah.
My child.
Thank you. Oh,
but I think the thing that bothered me was she held on to the money to prepare to spend it on Friday and don't want me to hold on it so she can spend it on Friday. How that makes sense?
It doesn't, but that's what we do. It's okay, give your 10% so that the devourer can be rebuked. Give me your money. Let me hold it for you. That's what you just said.
That's the intention of the tithe.
What happens though? What happens when
we hold it back?
Well, and then we go out there and the tithe blow out. Now we want God to make a way.
I mean, it's horrible.
Out of the treasures of his pocket.
I told my daughter she gonna have to find another way,
I hate it so bad.
I mean, you gotta believe, and then on top of that, she always want to go on trips. She want to go places. She want to do things, and then she go. I said, well, how we gonna pay for it, Daddy? You got the money. Oh, okay.
And that is exactly what we tell God.
So you save your money and then spend mine.
Yes, that's exactly what we tell God. We go out here, we work, we get everything done from our hair, nails, toes, get a new car, whatever it is we getting. And then when something come up, Lord, I'm the leaning independent. Wait a minute. I already gave you what you needed for that situation. You took it and used it for something else. Now you want me to replenish? No, I'm not.
Horrible. Horrible.
No, I'm not. And then we turn around and say, God don't work for me. No, he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did not use the provision that he gave to you to do that. You used it on something else. And now, see, he only gives you the desire of your heart when you delight yourself in him. That means from paying your tithe and everything else. All of that goes along with it.
Right.
We don't want to see it that way. We figured delight ourselves.
It blessed me, but it broke me too, because I was kind of concerned. I'm like, why my child don't trust me? But she does trust me.
She does trust me.
And honestly, when I went today, right before I came, I went to go pick up their pizza because I knew we was going to be recording. And by the time we get done, I didn't want them to wait on me to have to go pick up the pizza, bring it to school, things like that. So I went and grabbed it, dropped it off, and then I came up here. And in the process of me getting there with the pizza, with her juices, for her whole class, everybody's like ready for their lunch. And I know they go to lunch at 12:45, so I'm like, okay, well, cool. They can do that, they can have all their stuff ready to go. They can keep it in the microwave, in the stove or whatever until they ready to eat it, whatever the case may be. And when I got there with the pizza, she looked at me and she said, Daddy, thank you, because I know I could have gave you my money, And I knew you was gonna buy the pizza. She said, well, you can have it. It's in the glove compartment. And I didn't even realize she left it. But the fact of the matter that she was willing to sacrifice and give it to me after seeing me do something for her, it just like all of that just makes so much sense to me. And in coming here, I wanted to sit in the car and just go, Lord, thank you. I got a sweet child that knows how to appreciate when God actually is moving on her behalf. And even though I'm not God, I'm her dad, but to look at it in a spiritual sense.
But see, you give her a reason to trust God more.
Yeah.
Because the earthly father exemplifies what the heavenly father is doing.
Yeah.
And so she has something to reference that with.
Yeah.
When there are people in this world that have no reference to that,
yeah,
that makes it difficult because she has something she can see doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means I can trust what I see. I can trust what I don't see.
Yeah.
And that little girl trusts both.
Yeah.
So when you are children that can't really trust both, you're like, I can't trust what I see. Ah, all right now.
So now I'm really challenged.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a problem here. But because she saw that you delivered.
Yeah.
Anytime we see that God delivers,
Yeah.
our faith grows just a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
for her to see that you delivered, she goes, Dad, you can have that money.
Yeah.
You know.
It was just I didn't take it. I left it where it was. But my joy was the fact that she recognized that I did something. You know what I'm saying? And I go, and it is like a eye opener because you go, Lord, I seen you do that. I just saw you work that out. I just saw that I went through a surgery and didn't die in the midst of surgery. I saw that I went to the bank and the bank didn't say insufficient fund. I saw you move on my behalf.
Indeed.
The least I ought to be able to do is appreciate you for what you've done and celebrate the fact that it could have been worse. You didn't have to do it, and then offer back something to you. And I think that was a joy for my child to even consider wanting to give it back on the whim of seeing me go out of my way to make sure that they had food and her friends had drinks. Like, she was so happy, like, Dad, you got something for all of us. I bought a bunch of pizza. Let y'all have at it.
Well,
And
see,
so
that's the same thing with God. Just like you said, it makes your heart glad.
Yeah.
When your child can appreciate
Yeah, absolutely.
what you've done. And God feels the same way. My heart's glad that you appreciate by bringing your tenth, by bringing, your kindness, by bringing a smile, because you never know who just needs something as simple as that. By bringing a word so that I don't screw things up and things. It's just little things that we can do to actually represent the Father. And when we do those things, his heart is just as glad as your baby saying, Dad, thank you. Thank you for waking me up this morning, Lord. Thank you for the food that's on my table, Lord. Thank you, even though I don't have one dime in my pocket, there's a food pantry somewhere that can help me out. I mean, just little things. Write those things down.
Yeah.
And begin to watch God do bigger things, because now you trust me here, you trust me here, you trust me there. And the older that Zayla gets, the more she's going to trust, because the bigger of the things she's going to need. And my daddy bought pizza, so now he can do this. My daddy bought a bike, now he can buy a car. My daddy did this.
Well, now
don't
go that far. Don't go that far.
Oh, it's coming, sweetie. It's coming.
Don't
even worry about it.
Don't go that far.
Oh, it's coming. Yes, my Lord.
I think I'm just grateful because I get a chance to live out some of the things we talk about, to be able to have the encounters and experiences of being able to see God move in multiple facets. I remember us praying for her, praying for a child, period, and then watching God produce that baby, and then for that baby to come out to be as spiritual, as aware, spiritually aware as she has been. Of course, they recognized her on Fox 26 News today, and she was all giddy. Like, she covered her mouth and was, oh, my God. And I'm like, baby, it's certain things that God will do for you, and it's certain things that you don't know that's working behind the scenes. She never knew. She just jumped out of the bed and said, I'm 7. I said, yeah, it's good. I'm glad you're 7. You happy? So I'm happy, Dad. I'm happy. And then I made her sit down. I was like, watch this. And it came on the screen, and she blew. Yeah.
That was real early.
It was early. It was real.
That was real.
It was real.
Real
I had to do it that early because that's what time she makes her transition to school. So I wanted her to be able to see it before we left house. We leave the house at 7 o'clock, so I wanted her to be able to see it. And we always pay attention to the weather. The weather is our big deal. We got to make sure to see what the weather look like so we'll know how to dress for the day and things of that nature. But right after the weather, they do the school bag, and bam, it popped. Now, what's funny is she asked me. Today is Wednesday. She asked me Monday when she woke up, Daddy, can I be on there one day? I ain't even say nothing. I ignored it. I ain't say a word because I knew I had already planned for it to happen. But she didn't know. And so I just kind of was like, well, we'll see. We'll see. One day it's going to happen.
Oh, this was the day. Early Wednesday morning.
And so I think a lot of times we don't know what's in the plan of God. And so we have a hard time waiting and watching him work it. We don't know. We are trying to figure it out.
But here's the childlike faith in that. You said one day. She said, okay.
Yep.
She didn't say what day.
Yep.
She didn't ask you which day. You said one day. She said, okay.
That's fact.
But yeah, that was early this morning.
It was early. It came on about 6:50. So.
Oh, I mean that.
It was real early this morning in our transition. Y'all, this talking about watching God work is not just one-sided, where we're dealing with what happens when we do see him work it. How do you keep the faith? It's easy to keep the faith when you see it work. It's not as easy when the working of God is delayed based on our timeline or our timing. Lord, when I want you to do it now, and when he don't do it now, it's like, oh well, God don't hear me, or because I hear a lot of that. Well, every time I pray, God never answers. He never show up. He never help. And I'm like, where were you? Now I understand what he said to Job. Where were you when I?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Take that right out of my mouth. I appreciate you. Go ahead.
I mean, I understand it now more than ever by having those, Lord, well, I don't even see you do this. And he said, where were you when I woke you up this morning? What happened to you when I allowed you not to lose all your teeth in the middle of your sleep? Or when I caused you to wake up and you can literally see? Or when I caused you to open your ears and you can hear the sound of the birds outside, or the car horn blowing? Where were you when you were able to feel your fingertips and feel your toes as you got out of the bed? Like, where were you? And I think we miss those moments. So we can't see God, only looking for him in the big picture.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. When you don't need God and you don't seek him and you don't want to deal with him until you have a problem, who want to deal with you like that?
Well,
no one wants to deal like that. I don't want to deal like that. If the only time that you can call my house is when you need $5, well, I don't want to give you $5. God has feelings, and he's asking us to commune with him daily. Yeah. If we were doing that daily, if you my friend or somebody that I know and I know you need help and I see you all the time and we always speak and we're always cordial, you ask me, if I got it, you can have it. Yeah. But if we don't talk like that, and I'm going to need to know some more information. Baby, who are you? What is your name? Because last week you asked me for $2. This week you're asking me for $2. Let's get to know one another a little better, because you in my pocket pretty good right now. Yeah. And so if God starts talking to us like that, then we'll think he's wrong. Yeah. But when you spend no time with him and you don't have a relationship with him, we cannot always expect to get from someone something when we don't have a relationship.
That's true. That's true.
So he's asking us for something simple, a relationship.
Yeah.
And while you're in relations with me, I'll give you anything that you need. Anything.
So I know and I don't know if you want to continue, but I want to really go and celebrate with her at 12:45, and so
let's get that done.
We're gonna have our last little comments concerning watching God work, and then we'll get out of here because I want to go and spend time with the baby for her birthday. Y'all, please make sure y'all love on her and show her love, because. And me and Z are going to do our absolute best to make sure she's celebrated in a great way. She's been our promise. We thank God for her. We love her tremendously, and we both want to see her successful in her endeavors. The girl is phenomenal. She's a great soul. She's a great spirit, and we just want to be able to celebrate her on this day, and that's why I'm highlighting it on this broadcast. But listen, last thing, what can we say to help somebody to see God clearer? I mean, you know, in times where they don't see him working, how do we help them see God work in their lives, whether up or down, good or bad, high or low? How do we help?
Remember the times, like Michael Jackson said.
Come on now.
Remember the times that he brought you through. Remember the times he put the food on your table. Remember the times that he sent somebody by to take care of what you couldn't take care of. It may not be as intense as it is right now, but if he took care of that, he'll take care of this what's got going on now. And so what he did was take the little things and begin to grow your faith. And now he wants to stretch your faith because it's something big for you. So he needs to get you in a place where you're uncomfortable so that when you come through that thing, you can see everything that God has for you.
Wow. Here's Naila. She said, we want the quick, fast microwave faith. We have now become accustomed to having everything now. Amazon, grocery store, food delivery. But we forget God doesn't need our help, nor does he work on our time. Like you said, he wants the appreciation, the intimate moments. And that's absolutely correct. I appreciate that. We've been in communication with. She's so much better, and I believe she is at home too. And so we praise God for her and her recovery. I want to close by saying this: if you don't seek God, you won't see him. You got to be able to seek God in order to see God. You need to seek him to see him. You need to seek him to see him. And what happens when you seek God, you'll be okay. Everything will be a-okay, because God will show you what you need to see, how you need to see it, and he'll let you be able to see him work everything out according to, watch this, his ways of making it work. Stop trying to think about having things work on your timing, when you want it, how you want it to go. You got to trust God and believe that if you put it in his hands. We used to sing a song, all in his hands. I put it all of my burdens, problems, even if I had questions, I put it all in his hands. This and that, whatever, no matter how great or small, he's the master of them all. And if I remember that, then I can understand how to release it, give it to God, trust him in what he's doing and how he's getting it done, and then watch him work it out. And when he work it out, just keep on doing like my daughter did. Just tell God thank you. Every time he work it out. Thank you. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for fixing it. Thank you for healing my body. Thank you for overturning. That's what gives us the joy and the celebration of loving and having faith in God. And believe. Tammy, what's happening, girl? Having faith in God and trusting him beyond what we currently can see. Watching him work is such a valid and viable thing we need to do in our relationship with him. We got to watch him. He's moving everywhere. He's speaking in every area. He's showing you who he is, why he is who he is, and his dominion, his power, his omnipotent and omniscient power over our lives. We just got to trust it. And once we trust it, all things will work out according to plan. Y'all, we love y'all. And I got to get out of here. We appreciate each and every one of you being a part of our Drawing from the Wisdom Well of the Greater New Hope Church. I'm your host, Pastor Dr. Robert Bailey, Jr., and alongside me is none other than
Minister Yolanda E2 period Brown.
E2 periods Brown. Y'all, we thank y'all. Richard was supposed to be here. He didn't come. Darius was supposed to come today. He didn't come. But we thank God for them even wanting to be here. Naila wanted to be here, but she got to rest and recover. So we appreciate you as well. And to all of our viewers, all of those who watch us every week, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us every single week. And we hope and pray that our broadcast bring you joy, bring you encouragement, but most importantly, bring you closer to God. We love you, and we're the place of help, hope, and healing. Peace out, y'all.